Certainly plenty of drama, certainly plenty of action over the 2 nights of speed car racing here at Northline. And so I'll move on to the 1990 Mitsubishi Motors Australian Speed Car Championship over a distance of 40 laps, and the starters from position 1 through 24, Warren Eakins and Phil Hareen, Graham Jones from 3, Neville Lance from 4, Bob Holt from 5, Johnny Davidson starting from 6, Tom Watson Sr. out of 7, out of 8 Wayne Cover, out of 9 Tom Watson Jr., Jack Berry from 10, Jeff Blake from 11, Mark Gilbert from 12, position 13 Mike Figlamini, position 14 Gary Dillon, position number 15 Aaron Benny, out of 16 Rod Bowen, Mike O'Donnell will drive car 25 from 17, position number 18 Terry King, 19 Darren Power, position 20 Stephen Graham, position number 21 Peter Kittle, position 22 driven by Gavin Lear in car 73 from position 22, position 23 Graham Parton, and position 24 Grant Coombe. As the pace starts to quicken now, and a bit of a jumble start there. Oh, one around sideways Mike O'Donnell, Graham Parton up over the side there of Peter Kittle in 14, and we've gone to a yellow light situation in the run to the start of the 1990 Mitsubishi Motors Australian Speed Car Grand Prix. The Australian Speed Car Championship, I should say, as the crash crew there just moving Graham Parton onto the infield. Darren Power also there involved in car number 59. Peter Kittle's okay, he's off and running. And set to go, a complete restart. Warren Eakins bringing the field around, and Phil Hareen on the front row with him, just about set for a start. Yes, we've got a green this occasion, and away we go with the Australian Speed Car Championship over a distance of 40 laps, sponsored by Mitsubishi Motors. A bit of a traffic jam there. Mike O'Donnell up onto the inside of Aaron Benny, back further in the pack there, but here's Warren Eakins leading, 1 lap down, 39 laps remaining in the Mitsubishi Motors Australian Speed Car Championship, and Warren Eakins the race leader. Neville Lance now looking for a way through and picks up second position on Phil Hareen. Phil Hareen in third. Neville Lance now into second spot and heads off after Warren Eakins. Warren Eakins down the main straightaway leading, 2 laps down in the Australian Championship. There's Graham Jones now trying to work away on the inside there of Phil Hareen. Up ahead of those is Bob Holt representing the Northern Territory, who's driven superbly last night and tonight. But here's the interest at the top of the field, and Warren Eakins leading, but he's got a hard charging, hard driving Neville Lance going down hard onto that pole line in turn number 1 as the rest of the field streams on through. Down the back straightaway once again. Oh, and problems here. Grant Coombe and Peter Kittle upside down, getting out of the cockpit of car number 14. We have a red light in the Australian title, and Peter Kittle dragged out of the car, if not a little unceremoniously, but he's quite okay. And now the crew getting car number 14 back on its wheels. And that won't do the suspension a whole lot of good, but he's okay, Peter Kittle. And just waiting on a restart once again. There's the field set on the main straight. And so Warren Eakins set to lead them away. And Phil Hareen breaks out from the pack there, and he's in third position. Tom Watson Sr. and Jr., Graham Jones, and a congested running order at the top of the field. One up high there is Jeff Blake trying to get around the outside of Wayne Cover. Here comes Phil Hareen on the outside of Bob Holt. The 2 Watsons following through, Mark Gilbert, Wayne Cover also there, and it's still Warren Eakins leading down into turn number 1, but he's had plenty of pressure already applied by Neville Lance, and here's Neville Lance once again, really taking the Australian title right up to Graham Jones. There's Phil Hareen locked in combat with Bob Holt. Next one through is Graham Jones, followed by the 2 Watsons Sr. and Jr., but there's Bob Holt and Phil Hareen in the hectic opening laps of the Australian Speed Car Championship final here at Darwin's Northline Speedway. And right down hugging that pole line there is Graham Jones coming up inside Phil Hareen. Phil Hareen shuts the gate on Graham Jones, and a titanic battle unfolding between Phil Hareen and Graham Jones. Next in there is Bob Holt, and here's Warren Eakins and Neville Lance up at the top of the field. They're already setting out in what will obviously be a battle royal for the Mitsubishi Motors Australian Speed Car Championship from Northline Speedway. Phil Hareen leading that contingent down the back straightaway as we cut down to Phil Hareen. There he is. He's got Graham Jones right behind. There's race leader Warren Eakins, just with a slight advantage over Neville Lance, but it's still plenty of laps remaining. and Neville Lance sitting in behind Warren Eakins in these early laps as we watch Wayne Cover and Mike Figlamini coming up on the inside of Wayne Cover and picks up one more position, though Cover coming again on the outside and in actual fact still holds that position. Oh, banging wheels there between both West Australians as Mark Gilbert and Jeff Blake also join in there too, but Wayne Cover holding his position. Cars coming down the main straightaway, and here's this interesting battle between Bob Holt, Phil Hareen and Graham Jones. They're running down in 3rd, 4th and 5th, I think you'll find, on the racetrack at the moment as the rest of the field come through. There's Phil Hareen. Phil Hareen in what will be 4th position. Bob Holt, yes, Bob Holt in 3rd. Phil Hareen is 4th, and 10 laps completed. 1/4 of the distance already completed in the Mitsubishi Motors Australian Championship as we cut back to race leader Warren Eakins. Warren Eakins doing a beautiful job out in front, just opened up a very slight margin over Neville Lance. Next one through is Bob Holt, Phil Hareen, Graham Jones, one slowing in the background there as we continue on in this Australian Championship. The two Watsons through. Wayne Cover followed by Mike Figlamini. There's Bob Holt. He's done nothing wrong so far in the Australian Championship and very handily placed in the early stages of the race. Being chased hard, however, by Phil Hareen, and the next one through is Jones. So we're just looking at the top running order at this stage. It's Eakins, Lance, Holt, Hareen, Jones, and of course the two Watsons also there. Now the front runners, this is where it does get particularly interesting as they come up to put a lap on these tail end cars. Warren Eakins safely negotiating the traffic so far, and in actual fact has pulled away from Neville Lance, who is trying now to get through on the inside of Gavin Lear and also Graham Parton there. Graham Parton just comes across the front of him a little bit, and this allows Warren Eakins to get clear. Now Neville Lance switches to the outside, trying to get Graham Parton's ducks back low on the inside, down the straightaway. Yes, he's clear of the traffic, as is also Bob Holt and Graham Jones and Phil Hareen. And Graham Jones really working hard on Phil Hareen there. Yes, and gets through on the inside of Phil Hareen and Jones and Hareen. What a great battle we've seen from these two drivers over this weekend. And Jones now up into what is 4th position on the racetrack. Neville Lance in 2nd, Holt 3rd, Jones 4th, Hareen 5th. There's the race leader. Now moving up on Stephen Graham. Goes through safely on the inside of Stephen Graham to complete another lap. We have a yellow light on, and there's problems up here in turn number 1. Jeff Blake, it looks like, and Mark Gilbert, the drivers involved, bringing on the yellow light. But certainly Warren Eakins has not put a foot wrong so far, and being chased hard, however, by Neville Lance as the drivers, Jeff Blake 51 and Mark Gilbert, crash crew, the efficient crash crew in attendance here. Set to go once again, and of course Warren Eakins, the man up front, being chased very hard by Neville Lance. And I think you can see, you will see Neville Lance put just a little bit more pressure on Warren Eakins in this next series of laps as the Australian Championship unfolds. But Eakins leading. There's Bob Holt. He's done a beautiful job, as I said earlier in the commentary. Bob Holt really, certainly in the heats last night and again tonight, Bob Holt driven superbly, and now holding down 3rd position. Graham Jones, there's car number 76 driven by Tom Watson Jr. He's making a forward move and gets through on the inside of Phil Hareen. Hareen coming again, but Tom Watson Jr. picks up one more placing, and certainly Phil Hareen, now he's further back in the field there, and Tom Watson Jr. making a bit of a strong forward move as the laps unfold. But Bob Holt still in 3rd position, and just ahead of him is Neville Lance on the racetrack, trying to pick up some of the other cars further around the racetrack at this stage, further back in the field, I should say. Bob Holt now having some pressure applied by Jones. Jones setting himself up for a pass on Holt as they come down the main straightaway. And still up ahead is 20 laps completed, 20 remaining. Neville Lance in 2nd position, giving chase to this man on screen, Warren Eakins, unbeaten in race competition and attempting to create Australian Speedcar Championship history by becoming the first driver from the Northern Territory to win the National Driving Championship. As we watch Jones and Watson Jr. Jones on the inside, on the outside, Watson Jr. on the inside there, and Watson Jr. certainly driving with a bit of aggression in this second half of the Australian Speedcar Championship. Irene also the next one through. There's Jones, and Jones with a break now on Tom Watson Jr. Also up there too, we're looking at Neville Lance and the race leader Warren Eakins. Warren Eakins down into turn number 1, driving car number 45, powered by a Cosworth, and he's still leading the Australian Championship. The high speed dress parade around the Northline Speedway in Darwin, coming down the main straight, and still Warren Eakins, and the track becoming slicker and slicker as these laps unfold. Bob Holt still in third position. Jones, Watson Jr. the next one through. A top running order, and the top drivers in Australia battling out this 1990 Mitsubishi Motors Australian Speedcar Championship. Still Warren Eakins leading, and as I said earlier, Warren Eakins scoring 2,005 points from the qualifying heat. Unbeaten from 5 heats, 5 starts, 5 wins. Warren Eakins, as the dust starts to rise around the Northline Speedway and the laps unfold, but it's still Warren Eakins, never having put a wheel wrong so far in his quest to win the Australian title. Jeff Blake goes up high on the racetrack. He's in front there, Gary Dillon in front of him as they come down the back stretch. But still Warren Eakins cars now all around the Northline racetrack, and here's Warren Eakins coming up to put a lap on Northern Territory driver John Davidson. Eakins chooses the high line as they run into turn 3, then ducks down low. There's Bob Holt. He's got a gaggle of cars ahead of him also. Here's Eakins taking the first of the lap cars, and that's John Davidson safely through on the inside there. Now underneath Graham Parton. Oh, Neville Lance balked a little bit there for room once again. Certainly Neville Lance not negotiating the lap cars as easily as Warren Eakins, and Warren Eakins having a dream run out in front so far. Now Neville Lance clears himself of those lap cars, and once again has Warren Eakins in his sights. There's Bob Holt, Graham Parton, also Gavin Lear there too. But here's Warren Eakins leading, and leading well, leading beautifully in fact down the straightaway as the laps start to unfold. And now 30 laps done and just 10 laps remaining in the Australian Speedcar Championship final, and Warren Eakins 10 laps away from creating Australian Speedcar Championship history. And now Tom Watson Jr. gets a run around the outside of Bob Holt, and but Bob Holt fights back again, and Tom Watson Jr. a little bit of over aggression there, and runs up over the side there of Bob Holt. But Warren Eakins still the man, the pace leader, the pacemaker, and the man setting himself with an appointment with history in Australian midget racing. But he's still got several laps remaining. We're into the last 10, and Warren Eakins doing a beautiful job out in front. And now here once again is this battle between Bob Holt and Tom Watson Jr. And Bob Holt right up on the pole line there. Now Tom Watson Jr. looks for the outside, but couldn't pull it off on that occasion. And here's that man Phil Hareen once again coming underneath Tom Watson Jr. Oh, great battle this one. And Tom Watson Jr. and Phil Hareen closes up that gap once again. It's a battle between Bob Holt, Tom Watson Jr. and Phil Hareen for the minor placings in the Australian Speedcar Championship final, battling for 3rd, 4th and 5th at the moment. And Bob Holt and Tom Watson Jr. with a beautiful inside pass, and also Phil Hareen following him through as 5 laps remaining. 5 laps in the Australian Speedcar Championship, and in actual fact something may have happened to Bob Holt's car there, because he does seem to have slackened off the pace a little as Phil Hareen also gets through ahead of Tom Watson Jr. Not too many laps remaining now. I think there's something like only 4 laps away from victory in the Australian Speedcar Championship for this, quite possibly, this man on screen, on camera, Warren Eakins, as he comes down the main straightaway, into turn number 1 and lining up to pass. Oh, one slowing noticeably there. Phil Hareen had to take evasive action to get around the outside, and this allows Tom Watson Jr. once again to bridge that advantage that Phil Hareen had. Rod Bowen, Warren Eakins attempting to lap Rod Bowen, I should say, and Warren Eakins leading still as we wind down the laps in the Mitsubishi Motors Championship final of Australia here at the Northline Speedway in Darwin. Surely not too many laps remaining now for Warren Eakins, and this race is just about set to go down to the wire with Warren Eakins taking the checkered flag. 2 laps remaining on our lap count, just 2 laps remaining for Warren Eakins. There he is coming off turn 4, and he should have the white flag. Yes, there it is, white flag out. completion of lap 39, and now here it is. Warren Eakins sets off on his final lap down the back straightaway, and smoke coming from the tail of the car there too. Smoke billowing from car number 45 as he comes off the main straightaway to take the checkered flag and victory in the Australian Speedcar Championship final. Warren Eakins the winner, and there seems, just looking off screen in actual fact, and there seems to be some confusion on the starting line because the checkered flag did not come out for Warren Eakins, but I can assure you he has completed 40 laps. Warren Eakins has in actual fact pulled to the infield. Seems to be some confusion here. Certainly no one seems to be aware of what exactly is going on. There's General John Day standing on the edge of the racetrack. The race continuing. The race is continuing. Warren Eakins is on the infield. Neville Lance has inherited the lead. Just exactly what is going on here, no one really seems quite sure at the moment, but the race is continuing. We're into something like lap number 42. We stand corrected on that, I hasten to add, but by our lap chart count, we have done 40 laps in the Australian Championship, and now the checkered flag is waved, shall we say, albeit gingerly, from General John Day. But we'll have to wait on confirmation. Well, Neville Lance believes he's won the Australian title. Oh, and problems up here in turn number 4 between young Watson Jr. there and Phil Hareen, and one other car involved there. But pandemonium here at the finish of the Australian Speedcar Championship by, as I said, as I reiterate, by our lap chart count, Warren Eakins did 40 laps. But we're just waiting to see what's going to transpire. And Speedcar officials now frantically checking through lap scoring charts as the cars, as you can see there, stopped on the main straightaway. Crash crew members now attending the cars, but really no one seems to be too sure exactly what is happening here. Now we cross down to our infield camera there, and there's Neville Lance preparing to get out of the cockpit of the number 8 race car. And certainly Neville Lance, well, he looks pretty happy. He thinks he's won the title, just unbuckling there. And he did cross the line when the checkered flag come out. Yes, well, there it is. He's pretty pleased, but we are now wait the official, or rather the provisional, I should say, placings from course announcer Chris Will. The winner of the 1990 Australian Speedcar Championship, Neville Lance from Perth, Western Australia. A bit of drama, a bit of controversy in those last few laps, Neville. Just explain the situation as you saw it.
Well, I didn't really see any problems at all. All I was doing was racing Warren, and a bit of smoke came out. He pulled off. I kept on going and going. I just waited till the checkered flag came out, and when the checkered flag came out, as far as I was concerned, it was finished. I didn't know if I'd done 100 laps or 45 laps. I never looked for a white flag, only the checkered.
Well, of course, just talking about the race, 40 laps, a long way around the Northline Speedway. How did you feel during the race? Were you confident from the outset, or how did the race unfold for you?
Well, actually, it wasn't until about, I'd say, halfway through the race I felt the car was coming on stronger and stronger. Warren did have a bit of a lead on me there for a while, but I felt I was picking him up, actually, but I don't know. He didn't finish, but I did, so I'm happy.
You were trailing him all the way with the lap cars. Any problem?
Not really, only a couple got in the way for us for a little while, but they soon got out the way.
Okay, on behalf of Carrick Video and National Speedway Illustrated magazine, congratulations, the winner of the 1990 Australian Speedcar Championship, Neville Lance.
Thanks very much. Thank you.
Well, the hard luck story of the 1990 Australian Speedcar Championship, Warren Eakins. Warren, what is the situation? Do you feel you won the title?
Yes, Dennis, I've just been told we did 43 laps instead of 40. I received the white flag twice. The general was maybe gone to sleep or just wasn't quite aware of the fact that we were supposed to receive the checkered flag. He moved out to give me the checkered flag and was unsure, and I feel that I did win the race even doing 43 laps.
And through the Speedcar Control Council of Australia procedure, you filed a protest?
Yes, I have. No hard feelings against Neville or any of the other competitors. I just feel that there's been an injustice done, and I want to see it put right.
Now, of course, you blew a diff. Is that the story?
Yes, I blew a diff when I should have received the checkered flag, but I feel that I should have received the checkered flag 2 laps prior. But that's how it goes, and I think that we've still won the race.
Well, we want to wish you some luck, I guess. It robbed you right at the finish, and we'll await the outcome of the protest.
Thanks very much, Dennis.
Well, one driver who drove a superb race to actually finish, I think, in fourth position as they went, fourth or fifth as they went across the finish line, was Bob Holt. Bob, how was the race from your viewpoint? Certainly in those early laps, you were right up there in contention.
Oh, I had a pretty good smile on my face for the first 15 laps, but young Tom Watson, run out of brakes and we almost had a pretty bad accident, and we escaped out of it. But my muffler was knocked back into my rear tyre and tore all the exhaust pipe off. My engine went off song, but I was happy to qualify, and I think Northern Territory has come of age in speed car racing, and there's some top operators, top equipment, and I think it's a very good show. It's just a shame, a real shame that it never went to 40 laps.
Well, the end of the Australian Speed Car Championship, a little bit of controversy perhaps and a bit of confusion. Phil, how did you see it?
Yeah, I mean, I feel for the guys that have got the confusion. When you're up in the first 3 or 4, as I understood we were, the white flag was out for 2, maybe 3 laps, I suppose, for the drivers that were still a lap or 2 down. That's the way I sort of saw it. I saw the white flag a couple of times. The checker flag came out, the guy down here, and a white flag, and I come around again and got a second checkered flag. I then backed off on the back straight after we'd done over a lap, and poor old young Watson Tommy Watson Jr. was still sort of going hammer and tongs and ran over us and punctured a tyre, and we ended up both in the wall up there. But I come down and checked with the clerk, of course. He said, no, we definitely had the checker flag out, and as far as we're concerned, the race was over. So I just hope that's the way it is. But it's just unfortunate that that's the way it panned out. There was a white flag that side of the track and a checker flag here.
Just after a magnificent promotion over the 2 days of the Speed Car Championship, it was unfortunate this situation did occur, but you, as I understand, have got the runner-up position at this stage at least.
Yes, they've given the official positions out, and the Western Australia car is mine. Neville Lance drove a fantastic race. He'd gone through earlier on. They've said that I was second.
Tom Watson Jr.
Watson, who was on my tail at that situation, who didn't quite know where the race was finished, was third. I think Holty may have been fourth. These places are all unofficial, of course.
Well, talking now with Warren Eakins. Warren, more drama at the Australian title. Your protest has been upheld, and now you are declared the winner of the 1990 Australian Speed Car Championship.
Yes, Dennis, there's slight correction of what you say there. I did lodge a protest, but they returned it to me, and they said don't protest until a decision has been made, and therefore I didn't have to protest, and they corrected the decision themselves.
Well, as you said in our original interview, of course, you claimed right from the start that you'd done 43 laps when the white flag had come out.
Yes, I had.
So how do you feel now?
Great.
Okay, congratulations, Warren Eakins.
Thank you.
Of drama surrounding the outcome of the Australian Speed Car Championship here at Darwin's Northline Speedway. Following an examination of the lap scoring sheets, we can now report to you that in third place was South Australian driver Phil Hareen. Officially placed second was Perth driver Neville Lance, and the winner of the 1990 Australian Speed Car Championship is Warren Eakins from the Northern Territory.